Good evening, all of you. I hope all of you are fine and all of you have had your dinner. Yes, we'll be occupied today with some questions from CAT previous year papers, right? And these belong to the verbal ability or the verbal logic section, as some of you call it. So, primarily your parajumbles and parasummary. Parajumbles of both types. Okay, so let's see some questions of previous years. In case you have already attempted them, let's see why the options that are incorrect. What's the reason? What's the rationale behind the correct options? Yes. Hi Payal, how are you? Okay. Before we begin, please note down your schedule for the week. I hope you know that we meet you on our YouTube channel at 9 p.m. usually and at 10 p.m. on some days, right? Also, the last Lab to Cat series that has been going on, I hope you've been taking benefit of it. Okay. Also, yes, very important. So from today, this mock has gone live. It's an all India mega mock for CAT 2021. And we've tried to keep it as close to the actual CAT paper as we could. Of course, CAT 2020, we have tried to keep it as close to it as possible. So it's a real CAT experience for you. Mock attempt by expert faculties will be provided once this window is over. Okay, so do attempt it, do analyze it, do attend the video analysis as well, right? Hi Gaurav. Hi Sanket. Good evening. Chalo. Let's begin. And yes, this goes without saying. If you like the session, you have to like the session. You have to press the like button. Okay. All right. So we'll first start with parajumbles. See, in the last session, we talked primarily about odd sentence out parajumbles. So today, let's begin with our sequence parajumbles, right? So you have to arrange these four sentences into their correct order. Start. You have to type in your responses in the chat box just like the actual exam. Okay, very good, Payal. As in, I was expecting a response within 1.5 minutes and I've got it from Payal. What about others? Gaurav, what do you say? So I'm timing you. I have switched on a clock, a stopwatch here. Time is running. 2 minutes have elapsed. Okay, 3421. Simran has answered. Any other sequences that come to your mind? Otherwise, we'll discuss. So I've got two sequences here, 3241 and 3421. So very close, yes. And 3 is the opening in both of them. Absolutely correct. 3 is the opening sentence here, right? It talks about what the issue actually is. Because see, mob rule is not the issue. Yes, then we are talking about the feedback that we receive online. Feedback in what regard? Okay, so we are actually discussing how to deal with legitimate criticism. Okay, so 3 is the opening sentence, absolutely correct. And the correct sequence is 3241. Okay, this one. So why? If you notice this, see, grammar based clues help you. Both of these are in the future tense. Both of these are in the future tense. So it says, as we grow more comfortable with social media conversations, we grow, okay, being part of the way we interact, present simple tense, we interact every day, we are going to have to learn how to deal with legitimate criticism. Okay, again, present simple tense. Perhaps we need to learn to condense the feedback. So how to deal with legitimate criticism? Condense the feedback. That is how. That is a way. So 3, 2 is a pair. Okay, so once you learn to condense the feedback that you receive online so that 100 replies carry the same weight as just one, what will happen? A new norm will arise where people won't be repetitive because they'll know that you are going to condense the feedback anyway. So new norm will arise where it is considered unacceptable to reply with the same point that dozens of others have already. Then people will be concise with their feedback once you also start doing this. So 3, 2, 4, and lastly, we will all live under mob rule until then. See, till the time this doesn't happen, we'll all have to live under mob rule. Why? Because people are going to repeat the same comments again and again. They're going to type in the same thing, give the same criticism. We'll all live under mob rule until then. So it's a sort of a mob rule, no? Which doesn't help anyone. Okay, so typing the same thing 100 times, how does that help anyone? Right? Of course, different users are doing this, but they should check what the previous commenter has commented. Yes? So 3, 2, 4, 1, that is our sequence. Very good. One of the students got it correct. Right. I also got 3, 1, 2, 4. But then 4 and 1 belong to the same tense. 3 and 2 belong to the same tense. So that should have helped you in making your pairs. Okay. So this was a CAT 2019 question. I would not call this a very difficult question. Okay. Now, let's see a CAT 2020 question. Lengthier sentences, but again you can make connections. So let's see what the answer should be. Yes, again I'm timing you here. Thirty seconds. Okay, got one sequence. All right. Others. Quick, quick. Okay. 4, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 1. Apart from this, okay. Another 2, 3, 4, 1. That's it. 3 students. 2, 3, 4, 1 again. All right. 4, 1, 3, 2. Okay. So let's see whether 4 is the opening sentence or 2 is the opening sentence. Okay, if you place 4 in the beginning, it talks about two things, the exaptation concept and the Russian doll organization concept of living beings, right? So let's first define what exaptation is. Yes, that is defined in 2. A function not produced by natural selection for its current use is exaptation. A function not produced by natural selection for its current use is exaptation. Then we give an example also. Feathers might have originally arisen in the context of selection for insulation. Okay, not for flying. So first we define it, and therefore 2 should be the opening sentence, not 4. Then, now, see why I have taken this question. It's not a very difficult question if you ask me. However, CAT, the official answer that CAT extended was 2431, not 2341. And I don't agree with this. I think it should be 2341 only. And actually, a lot of experts didn't agree with it. But then an objection was raised and the authorities didn't accept it. Okay. So we were stuck with 2431. However, I sincerely believe that 2341 should be the sequence, because first we tell what exaptation is, then we introduce the concept of the Russian Matryoshka dolls, right? And then we say the exaptation concept, and the Russian doll organization concept of living beings, deduced from the studies on evolution of the various apparatuses in mammals, can be applied for the most complex human organ, the central nervous system. Okay, does this make sense? So I think that 2341 should be the sequence. Okay, going to the next question. So this is about metaphors, perhaps. I see metaphor here. Okay, so make use of this vertical scan. I'm not saying that don't read the sentences completely, but make use of it. The phrase carpe diem. Okay, Latin scholars, something about them. Metaphors. It is an example. What is an example? Right? So make use of this. Yes, start. Agree with you, Gaurav. Hi, Nexa. Okay, got one sequence. 30 more seconds to go. Okay, all right. Last 10 seconds. Okay. Anybody else who wishes to respond? Okay, so let's discuss this. Now, some of you think that 1 should be the opening sentence. Some of you think that 3 should be the opening sentence. So yes, please tell me, those who think 1, why? And those who think 3 should be the opening sentence, why? Yes, type in your reasons. Tell me. Tell me, tell me. Waiting for your response. One, because it introduces. Okay, Piyush says that. How about others? Yes, so Greek god, why do you say 3? Why do you say that 3 is the opening sentence? Then I think Payal also said 3. Yes, okay. So 3241 and 1324. Basically, these are the students that I am addressing. Okay. One, because introducing that metaphor has different meanings, then giving example. Okay, because one introduces. So those who said 3241, what were your reasons? Why is 3 the opening and not 1? Haven't got any student who's typed in 3 to respond. Come on, come on. Last question on sequence para-jumbles. Let's see what should be the sequence. So the official sequence that was extended for this question was 3, 2, 4 and 1. 3, 2, 4 and 1. However, again, this was a contested, disputed question. So see, basically I've brought to you some infamous questions today. Okay. So this became an infamous question because some students said that even 1, 3, 2, 4 makes sense. Yes. So now there are two ways of looking at it, whether you are looking at it deductively as a deductive paragraph or as an inductive paragraph. Now as an inductive paragraph, you will go from example to basically a sort of summing up of the idea, basically from specific to general. That's what I mean to say. Specific to general. That interpretation would lead to 3241. That interpretation would lead you to 3241. However, if let's say you go for a deductive one, right? If you go for a deductive arrangement, then you will first mention something about metaphors. So metaphors may map to similar meanings across languages, but their subtle differences. So metaphors may map to similar meanings, okay, across languages, but their subtle differences can have a profound effect on our understanding of the world. Okay, now 4 says, let's see whether 1 makes a better pair with 4 or whether it will make a better pair with 3. That's what we have to check. It is an example of one of the more telling ways that we mistranslate metaphors from one language to another. Okay, so that we mistranslate metaphors from one language to another, revealing in the process our hidden assumptions about what we really value. Okay, now I feel that 1 is an introductory sentence. It is more of an introductory sentence. Okay, so examples first and then the reason. Is this really a reason? Tell me. I first talk about the phrase carpe diem, then I talk about how this is a misinterpreted phrase. Then I say, okay, it is an example of one of the more telling ways that we mistranslate metaphors from one language to another, revealing in the process our hidden assumptions about what we really value. Metaphors may map to similar meanings across languages, but their subtle differences can have a profound effect on our understanding of the world. So I am saying that, okay, this reveals my hidden assumptions. My hidden assumptions are revealed through metaphors. Assumptions are revealed through metaphors. And 1 is saying that then metaphors, they have an effect on our understanding of the world. Okay, so if I go with this sort of an arrangement, then 3, 2, 4, 1 makes sense. Okay. However, if I go with the deductive interpretation, then even 1, 3, 2, 4 makes sense. So I feel that there is an ambiguity in this paragraph. The official answer extended was 3, 2, 4, 1. Now, if you go strictly by looking at 4 and 1 and you see, okay, metaphors reveal our hidden assumptions and then they have an effect, then their misinterpretation has an effect, then 3, 2, 4, 1 is fine. But if you look at that, first we talk about the issue at hand, their mistranslation, okay, their subtle differences, and then we give examples, then even 1, 3, 2, 4 is fine. So this was a disputed question in CAT 2019. The official answer extended was 3, 2, 4, 1. Okay. What would have been the percentage accuracy? That's very difficult for me to say. I think it would have been a mixed response in this. Some of the students might have genuinely thought that this is the introductory sentence. Some might have genuinely thought that this is a summary. 1 is a summary. Okay. So, it's pretty based on luck, this one. Right? Okay. So the idea was to show you some ambiguous questions there, right? So that's why I showed you these two. However, this is not the norm. This is the exception. Okay, so I've shown you exceptions from both the papers. This is not the norm. Let me assure you of that. Okay, now let's look at some odd sentence out para-jumbles. Odd sentence out para-jumbles. No ambiguities in these questions. Okay, so don't think while attempting, अरे कुछ ambiguous होगा तभी include किया. No, no ambiguities in odd sentence or parajumbles. Pretty clear cut questions. Let's see. Starting the timer. Okay. All right. Okay. You have to make mandatory pairs. Remember in the last session we discussed this, that if you make mandatory pairs, you will be able to attempt these questions. Okay. So here there were two very clear cut mandatory pairs, 5, 3 and 4, 1. 2 is the odd sentence out here. Now some students say, why can it not serve as an example of, let's say, their marginalization? Yeah, so some students say, why not 5, 2? Why is 5, 2 not a pair? The thing is that, see, if I introduce the idea of marginalization here, I haven't elaborated it yet. What sort of marginalization did they face? That has been explained in 3 only. Okay, that they were denied the right to sign a will as they were presumed to understand nothing. That was the marginalization that they faced, because it is not possible that they have been able to learn to read or write. Okay, so this is the prejudice against them, and therefore this relates very directly to 4. Right? 2 is a mere example. I first have to state kaisi marginalization thi. And then 4 and 1 make a very clear cut pair. So it is 2 that is out of place here. Okay. I had discussed this. Okay, okay. Probably in one of our paid classes then. In one of our batch classes. I must have discussed this. Okay. All right. So in case, see, you are not able to score in the VARC section, as I always tell you, in life, in any exam, drill down to the why. Keep asking. So, okay, I am not able to score in the VARC section. Why? Some of my RC questions, my inaccuracy in RC is pretty high. Okay. In which RCs? Is there any particular kind of RC? Let's say I got one entire RC wrong. No, that's not the case. It's spread across RCs. Any particular question type then? Let's say I get only inference questions wrong. No, it's not even that. It varies from situation to situation. Why does it vary? Am I not able to narrow down to 2 close options? Am I able to narrow down to 2 close options but then always get confused between those two? Then probably it's a lack of understanding of the technique. You see what I'm doing here? I'm constantly questioning myself, constantly asking why, and this will help you to narrow down, to zero in on the problem. And then you have to address it. बस ऐसा नहीं है problem पे narrow in करा, zero in करा और छोड़ दिया उसे. No, then you have to address it. So let's say the issue is that I don't know that how to choose once I have narrowed down to 2 options. So then see the technique for each question type, or see what was so particular in that passage that you were not able to do it. Was that question genuinely difficult? If it was genuinely difficult, then you don't need to worry a lot about it. However, if it was an easy question and then also you were not able to narrow down, then you need to worry about it. Then you need to address the problem. ठीक है, so just thinking कि score नहीं आ रहा, that's a very broad problem that every student out there has. ठीक है, उसको narrow down करो. A good strategy for a good accuracy in parajumbles. See, first of all, the strategy should be that you go for odd sentence out parajumbles first and then for sequence parajumbles. That's what I believe in based on probability, as I've always told you. Okay. Then in your odd sentence out, I believe that you should glance at both the questions. Don't leave any of the questions, because no negative marking. However, do not spend more than 1.5 minutes on any of these 2 questions. Don't. Okay. Your VA section, I mean, if let's say the number of questions remain the same, then you'll be able to devote only 10 minutes to it. In those 10 minutes, you have to attempt 8 questions. So anyway, you can't afford more than 1.5 minutes on these 2 questions. In sequence parajumbles, now what is a good strategy? See, sometimes what I do is I first glance quickly at the questions, okay, towards the end, because anyway, there's this time pressure. So towards the end, I'll first glance and then I'll pick up the one that appears the easiest to me. Arey, chote chote sentences and topic bhi familiar sa lag raha hai, utha lo ye. And then I'll attempt it. Then, so this way I go till the last question. So sometimes, let's say I may not have time left, then for the third question, I'll just randomly type in a sequence. Okay, that's also something that I've done last year. So that's how you get a good accuracy. And if you're asking me about the technique, about the concepts, those remain the same. Grammar-based clues, theme-based clues, structure-based clues, all those things that we discussed in our last session. Okay, those remain the same. Also, The more you read, the better you are at attempting para-jumbles. But of course, abhi is time span mein, I don't know how much this advice would work. But generally, I've seen this. The more you read, the better you're able to organize content, organize sentences. All right. Okay. Now, this here, the answer was 2. Let's look at another question. Um, let's see. This is a CAT 2020 question, pretty recent. Let's see what you mark here. We'll come to para summary, Rona. I've got one response. Okay, 20 more seconds to go. A lot of you think that 4 is the odd sentence out. What about others? Come on, come on. 4 is not the odd sentence out. Okay, 4 belongs. Here, understanding the broad theme that would have helped you. Basically, we are focusing on the distinction between being a woman and being feminine. Okay, so being a woman is a biological thing. I think the author has also explained this in our in our sentence. Woman was considered a biological category, but femininity was a process by which women became specific kinds of women. So the various sentences, their focus is on this difference between being a woman and being feminine. So 1 belongs, 5 belongs. Okay. Then it talks about, see, outward appearance. This is mentioned in 1. And then in 2 also we mentioned this. Appearance became a signifier of conduct. To look was to be, and conformity to the feminine ideal was measured by how well women could use the tools of the fashion and beauty industries. So again, how a woman could become more feminine and how she could reflect this through her appearance. Related idea. So the choice was between 3 and 4. Okay. And I agree that 4 was also a close option. So Mayank says 3. So Mayank, what makes you say 3? You're right, of course. But what made you mark 3 as the odd sentence out? Vicky also says 3. See this. The denigration of working class women and women of color often centers on their perceived failure to embody feminine beauty. So again, this distinction between being a woman and being feminine. Whereas 3, I understand that we are talking about, let's say, appearance here. We're talking about fashion and beauty industries. So you might have thought that, okay, makeover centric has been taken from there, right? However, this is about good and bad ways to be a woman. This sentence says nothing about femininity, does it? The paragraph is not about what are the good ways of being a woman or what are the bad ways of being a woman. The paragraph talks about being a woman versus being feminine. Okay, so that's why that's our answer. I mean, 3 is the odd sentence out. It's talking about ways of being a woman rather than difference between being. Yes, absolutely, mine. That is why 3 is the odd sentence out here. Okay, so this was, I would call it a moderate question, not an easy question. That's my point here. Okay, and the thing is that when there are relatively lengthy sentences, or when the topic is such which we don't read often, then things might get a little complicated for us. So in case you're not used to used to reading something on gender, you might have uh, got caught up in the details perhaps, whereas we had to keep a broader sight of this distinction between being a woman and being feminine. Okay, so 3 is the odd sentence out. I hope this was clear to everybody. Now somebody was asking me the techniques to attempt a para-summary question. Let's see this through a question itself. So I'll throw a question at you, you attempt it, then I'll tell you how you had to look at that question, how you had to eliminate options. Okay, so let's go. This is your question. It's from CAT 2017. Okay, I've got one response. Others? Okay, all right. Okay, so I've got all the options 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll discuss all of them. This was a good question. CAT 2017 had some good para summary questions, so I picked them up from there. Now, let's see. So basically, the focus, if you see, of the summary is on what both of them said, both Socrates and Bacon said. So both Socrates and Bacon were very good at asking useful questions, right? So we have to read this carefully, that they were very good at asking useful questions. What kind of questions are they asking? In common with Socrates, Bacon stressed that it was as important to disprove a theory as it was to prove one. So probably they were asking some questions that might result in disproving that theory. Okay, so now this was Bacon. This was something that Bacon said, and real world observation and experimentation were key to achieving both aims. So this is Bacon's view, right? But in common with Socrates, this is what he said. Okay, in fact, when we say that Socrates is largely credited with coming up with the Socratic method, which itself is at the core of the scientific method popularized by Bacon. So you know what this paragraph is doing? If I look at its structure, we first introduce it by saying that they both asked useful questions. Then we focus on the Socratic method, what Socrates did. Then we say, okay, that in common with Socrates, now this is what Bacon said. So you just have to pull out the common elements. That's what you have to do, because our summary is focusing on the common elements, right? So Socrates, what he did, he stressed on the exceptions. Okay, he was trying to disprove arguments by finding exceptions to them. So he stressed on the exceptions, and let's say the opponent also recognized that yes, oh, there is this exception. That means the original thing that I said might not be universally true. So then the argument stands disproven. Now, Bacon also recognized that it is as important to disprove a theory as it is to prove one. Basically, we should have a holistic approach. We should look at a theory from both the sides, and only if we cannot disprove it, then we should accept it. Only when we cannot disprove it, we cannot find any exceptions, then we should accept it. We should say that okay, now it stands proven. So this is what they had in common. This is what they were saying in common, and that's why the answer here is 4. So very happy. I think Shubhraj answered the fastest. He said 4. 4 is the answer. Then Simran is also correct. Krishna is also correct. Right. So let's see why the other options are incorrect. One could be easily eliminated. See, both Socrates and Bacon advocated clever questioning of the opponents to disprove their arguments and theories. The idea is not that you are just trying to one up your opponent, you are trying to disprove whatever they are saying. No, what you are doing through this debate is you are examining theories. Point ये नहीं है कि उसको गलत बता दें, ये point नहीं है. So clever questioning of the opponents gives the impression as if you're playing some trick on the opponent. Okay, so it does not match the tone of our paragraph. Second says, both Socrates and Bacon advocated challenging arguments and theories by observation and experimentation. This is Bacon's view. This is Bacon's view. and real world observation and experimentation were key to achieving both aims. So basically Bacon in a scientific method diya tha, just telling you outside, I mean this is external knowledge although I'm not supposed to, but we are talking about Francis Bacon, who is said to be someone who in a way pioneered the scientific revolution, so to say, right? There's a very famous quote by him, knowledge is power. Okay, so yeah, the point is that ये बेकन का व्यू है, तो हम नहीं बोल सकते हैं that ये दोनों सोक्रेटिस और बेकन का व्यू है. Alright, so eliminated. Now let me just check your comments if you've said something. Okay, no. 3 says, both Socrates and Bacon advocated confirming arguments and theories by finding exceptions. Were we confirming them by finding exceptions? If we found exceptions, then that stood disproven. If we found exception to some argument, then it stood disproven. Disproves arguments by finding exceptions to them. We were not confirming arguments and theories by finding exceptions. So I feel that 1 and 3 were pretty easy to eliminate. 1 on the basis of tone, they were not trying to trick the opponent, and 3 because of this is actually false as per our paragraph. It was between 2 and 4 that I expected you to get confused. Okay, and something that I can see most of you got confused there only. Okay, so this was a good question. Here we had to understand the gist actually. It's a para summary question, and we had to realize that we had to pull out the common elements, not what just Socrates said, not what just Bacon said. Okay, so this is how we attempt a para summary question. I'll further elaborate this method as we go to this question. Okay, so through each question, you'll come up with a refined method to read a para summary and attempt a para summary question. Yes, let's see this. So the fourth option is written here because I didn't have space and I didn't want to go to the next slide. Okay, so let's attempt this. 1 minute has already lapsed. What do you say? Okay. Others. Come on. What has happened? Okay, okay. I understand this was a lengthy question. CAT 2017 gave you relatively more time for para summaries. 1.5 minutes were available. 4 seems close. Okay. Okay. No, 4 is not close, Mayank. I'll show you why. So quite a few of you said 3. Good. Very happy. 3 is the answer. Okay. Now, 4 is not the answer because nowhere does the passage say that the meaning is less dangerous and definition is more dangerous. That's why 4 could be eliminated easily. Students usually get confused between 1 and 3 in this. Okay. So, 2 can be eliminated. Why? We are saying that this accounting for meaning, and see, there is a problem with this question. I have copied it as it is. If there is a very discerning student who's reading very carefully, the paragraph says meaning is use and the option says meaning in use. Both the options, they say meaning in use. Okay, so this became a problem for somebody who paid attention to this. Okay, otherwise 3 is the answer here. I think it was a typo on the part of the authorities, right, that they put meaning in use here whereas they put meaning is use here, right? So let's just change this to in. Okay, now yes, the difference between 1 and 3. Dictionary definitions are like gold standards. Artificial. Where does the artificiality of it has been stressed, that they are artificial? Dictionary definitions are artificial. Nowhere does the author say that dictionary definitions are artificial in nature, right? So this becomes a little alien and a little extreme. Okay, then yes, why is 2 not the answer? Because this says that accounting for meaning and use will only exasperate the problem. No. Okay, actually it should be exacerbate, but ठीक है, अब उन्होंने errors करे हैं इसमें, इस वाले question में. Will only exacerbate the problem. That is why lexicographers fix meanings. No, the author has not looked at meaning in use in a negative light. The author has not been negative about it. Okay, in fact, the author says that he found was a free floating currency of meaning. So the author is calling it a free floating currency. Okay, the lexicographer abstracts the meaning from that exchange, pulls away, extract kar leta usme se, which is then set within the conventions of the dictionary definition. Okay, so the author does not look at it in a negative light, and that's why B cannot be our answer. The answer is 3 here. Okay, good, Mayank, good. Yes, others can be eliminated here. Yes, this is that type of a question. So not a very difficult question, just a bit lengthy. But as I said that in CAT 2017, you did get 1.5 minutes per summary question, right? So you took more for some, less for some. Now, which are the words that we had to take care of? Which are the phrases that we had to focus on while reading this? So, a fundamental property of language is that it is slippery and messy, more liquid than solid. So, basically, we are focusing on the changing nature of language, right? Okay, so I get just this idea from the first sentence. That's it. अब मैं ये नहीं सोचने बैठ जाऊंगी कि gelatinous का क्या meaning होता है. Some students do that. They'll ask me, ma'am, what is the meaning of gelatinous? Just infer what you can, what you cannot. As in, if you cannot infer the meaning of a particular word, don't be so bothered about it. More liquid than solid should be enough. Okay. As he reminds us, usage has no sharp boundary. Okay, so this is an important idea, right? This insight is often described as the meaning in use. Okay, examining how a word is used, meaning in use. So meaning in use was a very, very important idea. Meaning in use. Okay, this had to figure in my para summary. So when you read a para summary question, you have to focus on the key ideas and the supporting details, just like you do in an RC passage. And then your para summary has to figure most of the key ideas, if not all. That's the technique to attempt it. Okay, so if let's say we had all the time in the world, then I would read a para summary question twice. In my first reading, I would just try to understand the paragraph. In my second reading, I would try to focus on the role of each and every sentence and just filter out the key ideas. But you have to do it in one reading only. You don't have that kind of time. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this one. So here's the fourth option again. This is also from CAT 2017, the last question for the day. So I want 100% response in this. It's a science-based para, very easy to interpret. Let's see what you mark here. Right, 1 minute. In fact, 1.5 minutes have elapsed. Okay. Got one response. Okay. Okay, I've got 3 threes. Others. Yes, do join our Telegram group. Our team has been posting this for the 3rd time now. Okay. So B and C, that's what you've narrowed down to. Now, it is naive to think the author does not appear opinionated anywhere. Okay, the author has not given a very strong opinion anywhere in the paragraph. So right at this juncture, you should become suspicious of this option. Okay. Also saying, but this may not be true of all storms. That has not been the point in the paragraph. This may not be true of all storms. Alien, extra, eliminated. Now, let's see A. Global warming and Harvey are unrelated phenomena. No, they have a relationship. See this relationship. So global warming, basically what is it doing? It's making these storms like Harvey wetter and more powerful. This was a very important point of the paragraph. Now, between these two, this has not been mentioned, that this equation, though it predicts potential increase in atmospheric moisture content, cannot predict the scale of damage storms might wreak. ये तो कुछ भी नहीं दिया हुआ है ऐसा of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. This is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. That's it. That's all that we have been given, and basically some statistics and what it means. Nothing about that it cannot predict the scale of damage storms might wreak. अपने आप से extra बोला हुआ है तो. Alien. Okay. Additional information. So C is the answer. Global warming melts glaciers. Correct. Resulting in seawater volume expansion. Something that we have stated towards the end. This enables more water vapor to fill the air above faster. So there is more water vapor. जब seawater volume expand हो गया तो more water vapor to fill the air above faster. Yes, and the speed also. So it holds more water vapor, right? And they evaporate more easily and provide energy to storm fronts. Thus, modern storms contain more destructive energy. So we had to combine this with these key ideas that were present in the paragraph. Yes, examples are not very important. Okay, here we had presented Harvey as an example. Correct. That was presented as an example, so A could be eliminated. Right. Okay. So these were our 3 para summary questions. So in all, we have done 8 questions. Just like at 2020, it asked you 8 questions from the VA section. Let's see how many you will get asked this year. Right. I hope this gave you some insight into how to attempt these questions, address some of your queries. In our next session, which will happen next Saturday, I'll give you some last minute tips. Okay. Some, let's say, although there are no shortcuts for these, if I can give you some, let's say, last minute things, if you're short of time in VA, what you can do, all those types of things, we'll discuss in our next session. Okay. Will happen on next Saturday at 9 p.m. Right, so this is it from my side for today. If you like the session, then do press the like button. Okay, our YT team works very hard for these sessions. Okay, for making them live. And yes, in case your friends are interested, you can show them this. This sale has been going on. Yes, very, very important. I hope you've been watching these sessions. You've been learning from them, more important. Okay, and these are the batches. Details of our classroom program, our team. So Pradeep sir's picture is missing. It's high time that we added it here. And one more thing. On November 28th, as you know, after each slot, we'll go live and we'll give you a detailed analysis, okay, along with a score predictor. So we'll have a predictive score thing, okay, where your score can be predicted. Those who've enrolled with us will automatically get it, right? And yes, so do join us on November 28th. Do join our Telegram group. Welcome. आशीर्वाद बिल्कुल साथ है मेरा आप सबके साथ, right? I feel very old while saying this, but now I'm getting used to it. Parting advice is please stay calm, okay? Your eustress should not translate into distress, okay? And see, right now you're at this stage wherein you have taken a good number of mocks. So just be consistent with the mocks, okay? In the coming days, be more consistent with your analysis, as I say, and incorporate those learnings. Don't go for any last minute strategy changes. I would not suggest that. And yes, align your sleep cycle with your slot. That has to happen. Eat healthy. Don't binge watch something. Don't binge eat. These would be my general suggestions. बस अब chill करो. ठीक है? All right. Welcome. I'll see you next time. Bye.